For everyone tired of constantly emptying out their vacuum's dustbin, Dreame has come up with the Z10 vacuum cleaner with its self-cleaning dock. You clean your place, park it in the holder, and before you can even recall the line from Mandelstam, the vacuum is prepped and ready for its next mission. The sleek design is a feast for the eyes, and that little motor is music to your ears. It's fairly quiet too, considering it delivers 20 kilopascals of suction. And the plastic feels almost as pleasant to the touch as your cat's fur. All that's left is to see how powerful it really is in action, and test it out on different surfaces. That's exactly what we're about to do in this Best Robot Review. The Dreame Z10 shows up in a large box, inside of which you'll find the dock that looks like some kind of mysterious tower. There's a pedestal for the dock, a non-detachable power cord, and of course the vacuum itself. Stylish, gray with a pinkish tint. If you know the exact name of this color, drop it in the comments. There's also an extra holder for attachments, a nice original touch, and this so-called innovative extension tube, though they don't explain what's innovative about it. Sounds like metal when you tap it. Then we've got main nozzle number 1 with a universal brush, main nozzle number 2 with a roller, a motorized furniture nozzle, a crevice tool with a sliding bristle, and a small nozzle for delicate surfaces. There's also a spare bag, kinda scary to think how much junk that thing can hold. Plus a hex key with screws to assemble the dock, and a little manual in case you need a bedtime read. Warranty card included in multiple languages. Sure, it'd be nice to have a flex joint or a corrugated hose, but even without them, the set is pretty solid. And don't worry about the suction power just yet. We've got measurements coming up. Price-wise, by Dreame standards, it's pretty reasonable. The Z10 has a blast-type layout. There's a pistol grip with the battery down below, motor on top, and a horizontal dustbin coming off it. Usually I'm not a fan of this design because it means you have to empty the bin every time. But here, no complaints. See that window on the bin? That's where the dock automatically sucks out the dirt. All you really need to do is disassemble the separator and rinse the filters once a month. There's no skirt because the intake hole sits right at the mesh level, but honestly, the dock's consistent self-cleaning makes that a non-issue. Dust goes into microcyclones, settles on a membrane, and only the most stubborn particles make it to the HEPA filter in the motor housing. They don't specify the filter class, but with all those layers, it doesn't really matter. The battery's removable and it charges right on the dock with the vacuum. To remove the battery, just press the latch and pull. It slides back in easily along the rails under the handle. There's no soft touch coating, but it feels secure in your hand. A trigger under your index finger starts the motor, and you can choose whether one press keeps it running, or if you want to hold it down. The mode switch button is on the display at the end of the body. It's close, but to actually hit it, you'd have to play center in a basketball game. You'll probably need your other hand. There are 3 power modes. No auto mode though, so you'll have to crank up the power yourself on carpets. Let's meet the attachments. The carpet nozzle is heavy and clunky and like a tank. Big wheels at the base help with the deep pile. Up front, there's a bumper with rubber inserts, headlights, and a slider. Open it for big debris. Close it to suck the life out of your carpet. The brush is standard, alternating hard and soft bristles. There's a short comb before the air channel, but it's enough to grab pet hair. The roller nozzle is light and easy to handle, with a raised front edge so it can get right up to the wall. Underneath, there's a big roller, 2 smaller ones, and a comb inside to cut off tangled hair. The furniture nozzle is different from Dreame's usual. The engineers for some reason fixed the frame so it no longer swivels, making it trickier to take apart. First, you'll need a dime on hand. Second, you'd better be a sharpshooter if you want to snap the brush onto the rotor on the first try. On the bright side, they added a side light. Kind of cool, like what you see on a Dyson. Now, when you clean your couch, you'll get a good look at just how scary the dust situation really is. The crevice tool comes with sliding bristles. Handy for cleaning soft furniture, they even added perforations for that. Or you can sweep off windowsills. The mini nozzle for delicate surfaces has a fabric pad on the base. Great for dusting the top of the fridge or mirrors. One thing that really stands out is the extra stand for storing attachments. It's not attached to the dock, so you can stash it anywhere, even in a closet. Too bad there's no 4th slot for the 2nd floor nozzle. That one's headed for storage. Assembling the dock is easy. Just set the column on the pedestal and tighten a single screw with the hex key. Looking at the dock itself, you'll see a support roller, the intake hole, and a button that lowers the charging contacts into position. Behind the magnetic front panel is the dust compartment. The bag's long and narrow. In a couple of months, it'll look like a stuffed sausage full of trash. No way to empty it, so be ready to buy disposable bags just like the manual says. When you park the vacuum, a green button lights up. That's also what starts the self-cleaning cycle. No other buttons, so operation is super simple. The air coming out of the dock passes through a HEPA filter at the base. Allergy sufferers can take a deep breath and imagine they're on vacation in the clean air of Mount Mashouk. First impressions. I really like the Z10. Solid build, tight joints with almost no play. The plastic feels so nice you'll want to run your hand over it like DiCaprio does with the plane in The Aviator. If it were Christmas right now, I'd put the Z10 in the middle of the room instead of a tree. Despite the familiar design and the different specs, the Z10 weighs about the same as other Dreame vacuums. Fully assembled, it weighs about 6 pounds. I'd prefer it to be around half a pound lighter, but overall that's perfectly reasonable. Now onto the tests. First thing that jumps out, energy efficiency could be better. The battery is the same as in the R20, but with lower pressure and just 10 minutes of runtime on max. That's 35% less than the ER20 and 20% below average. But in quiet mode, Dreame promises 65 minutes, so you can count on about 30 minutes on average. I cleaned my 860 square foot apartment on medium mode with charge to spare. It picked up a good amount of dirt, even though I'd tested another vacuum just the day before. Overall cleaning quality is solid. Noise level is about the same as other Dreame stick vacuums, relatively low for an upright, around 69 to 74 decibels. In quiet mode, you can clearly hear the hum of the motor in the nozzle. On max power, it's all about that vacuum motor, high-pitched, kind of like an airplane. To check power, we first measured airflow speed. It maxed out at about 106 feet per second. That's a bit above the average 98 feet per second you see in most vacuums, while the most powerful ones can hit 131 or more. Next up, suction strength. Dreame's marketing team definitely downplayed things on the box, listing 20 kilopascals, but in reality, the gauge shot up to 26. That's better than the average 24 kilopascals. One reason for the extra suction is the narrower pipe. Most Dreame vacuums have a diameter of 1.5 inches, but the Z10's is just 1.25 inches. The crevice test went smoothly. On low power, the nozzle cleaned a gap of about 0.1 inches. Medium power handled 0.25-inch gaps confidently, and even partially cleared gaps of 0.31 and 0.4 inches. On max, it cleared out every crevice. In the end, I'd rate the Z10's power as average, about the same as the budget R10. Is that enough for deep carpet cleaning? Let's find out. On laminate, the roller nozzle did great. 2 passes per section on medium, plus 1 or 2 along the baseboards. The nozzle is really effective. On carpet, I switched to max mode and clean up all the debris in 2 passes. It's got the strength to pull up dust and sand. You can feel the nozzle sticking to the surface. It just takes a little longer along the walls. For shaggy rugs, I use the heavy brush nozzle. After 8 passes, the rug looks clean, even though it started out pretty dirty. Sure, maybe a speck or 2 is still hiding in there somewhere, but you'd need Sherlock Holmes to find it. When it comes to cleaning performance, there's no difference compared to the R series. Same number of passes, same result. It picks up all kinds of debris. Grains, pet litter, you name it. The nozzle stays clean, no pet hair wrapped around it. And no need to empty the dustbin into the trash. We've got that self-cleaning dock. With just a flick of the wrist, the automatic emptying kicks in. Wait 10 seconds, and boom, the dust is in the bag. The bin looks brand new. No complaints about the dock. By the way, the noise level is the same as the vacuum on max power, 74 decibels. I was curious to test the updated furniture nozzle too. Honestly, the light didn't seem to help much, but man, that thing roared louder than ever. I was actually worried for the couch, but it survived the ordeal, like an exorcism, with the nozzle banishing the dirt demons. Just look at those clumps of dust packed with bacteria. The furniture tool works great. The other attachments give standard results. Good for dusting tables, baseboards, and tight spots. Let's sum it up. The Dreame Z10 is the best vacuum from the brand we've tested so far in terms of build quality, materials, and ease of use. Just dock it, and the dust disappears like magic. The high airflow and suction numbers are balanced out by that smaller pipe diameter. Bottom line, power is about average. At the same time, it's relatively quiet and handles all kinds of floors well, including thick carpets. The main downsides are short battery life and no automatic power adjustment mode. The ideal setting, an apartment with mostly hard floors and just a few carpets. Pets? Totally welcome. Thanks to everyone who watched till the end and hit that like button. That's it for today. See you in the next review.